So the company once responsible for creation and innovation have today become that of insinuation and intimidation. Wow. Hi folks, welcome back to the bench. For those of you new to joining us, I'm Jamie, your local tech shopkeeper and reactionary connoisseur, and today we have got a lot to talk about. For those that have not been brought up to speed yet with the Fender lawsuit, this stems back to a ruling back in March. We did do a video on that, and if you haven't seen that already, I would encourage you to go and have a little look. For those that are now caught up with those stories, we are of course talking about Fender's development in the lawsuit cases where cease and desist letters are now going to builders, manufacturers and allegedly even retailers. Now we are of course going to try and break down what we can where possible, the information that we know at this time, and this will be from a combination of other YouTube videos you'll have seen. There's some industry insights that we've got, obviously being in the game. Any information we do give, we will try to be as accurate as we can, where we can, and there will of course be blurred out names and places and stages for obvious reasons. As the Temptations said, I ain't too proud to beg. If you have never watched one of our videos before or watched one all the way through, and if you have never dropped a comment with your thoughts or feelings, today I am asking you to please do it, because the most fundamental thing with these videos will be you, the players, and what you feel. Let's just get straight to it. And this, as you now well know, stems from March the 9th, where Fender won a German court ruling against a Chinese manufacturer of Stratocaster S-type designs. Fender won the ruling and the defendant didn't even appear in the courtroom. Fender put their evidence forward and the judge ruled in their favour amongst this issue of copyright infringement. We're now going to bring up some of the documents for you to see. I'm going to be reading them here, and it's a very interesting read. Dear sirs or madams, we are writing to you in the name and on behalf of Fender Musical Instruments Corporation. Subject of this letter is your offer of products which infringe the copyright of our client's Fender's Stratocaster guitar. We insist that you immediately stop manufacturing, selling, marketing or producing such infringing products. We look forward to receiving a response until the 25th of May 2026. So you can imagine being one of the builders sitting there going about your normal day and that letter turning up. Just another ordinary day in my workshop. Oh, what's this letter? Yes, that'd certainly wake you up on a Monday morning, wouldn't it? It gets worse. You are therefore infringing our client's copyright in the Stratocaster body shape. As a consequence, our client has claims against you to cease and desist from further marketing such guitars, disclosure of information about your sales and marketing, damages, destruction of the infringing products, recall of the infringing products, and reimbursement of our legal fees. You can satisfy these claims by providing an undertaking as set out below. Not only have these people now got to immediately stop this production, they have got to send back anything they have, and it's got to be destroyed. All of the children out there that would love the opportunity to learn an instrument and we're about to now destroy a load of guitars. I am quite sceptical as to how that would operate, because under the GDPR Data Protection Act, we wouldn't be able to give client details. They are also asking for invoices and delivery notes and everything about the sale and the production of these guitars. So I'd now have to provide the guitars sold, the turnover, my profits, invoices, delivery notes and proof that these guitars have been destroyed. I think it's really important to discuss why this is coming about, and for Fender it's the characterisation and personification of their Stratocaster instrument. We will very much be doing a very brief overview of this, but I just want to explain in Fender's eyes what their shape means to them, and please tell me if you've ever considered the Stratocaster shape to be quite this detailed. The design as a body without edges gives the Stratocaster soft curves that evoke associations with a female torso consisting of hips, waist and arms. At the same time, the left side is stretched so that the S-lines and the two sides are not parallel, but the radii of their respective curves are uneven. The three-dimensional design with a flattening of the front left-hand side resembling a backward tilted pelvis and a narrower left rear side compared to the right side. Finally, the pickguard further emphasises this characteristic individual shape by echoing the curves of the body on the right, upper and lower sides, as well as the left side. I don't know about you, but she sounds absolutely gorgeous. I can imagine my wife finding out I've been looking at other bodies online. Phew, just look at the curves on that thing. There's a body I wouldn't mind cuddling up next to. And just look at the state of that G-string. We're now going to jump back to the legal letters that Bird & Bird have sent on Fender's behalf, in now conjunction with some of the fines and penalisations if these rules are not followed with immediate effect. If you confirm that you will comply with our client's claims, our client would in turn be prepared to make concessions in relation to their claims. For example, damages and also possibly in relation to phase out and transition periods. However, should you fail to respond accordingly with the deadline, we will advise our client to commence the required further judicial steps against you without further hesitation. Cease and desist in avoidance of a contractual penalty of €15,000 for each case of contravention from advertising and or offering and or distributing and or otherwise putting onto the market guitars if their body is designed as shown below. To render information on the scope of incriminated acts as per Cipher 1 by providing a detailed breakdown of a number of guitars sold, turnover and profits, and the advertisement done for these products, as well as a list of customers, submission of invoices and delivery notes and disclosure of sales prices. While I'm at it, I might as well give them my date of birth, bank details and my inside leg measurements. And to top it all off now, we've also got the legal fees of Bird & Bird to cover. Have a little read of this last bit. To reimburse the attorney's fee for this warning letter in the amount of a 1.5 attorney's fee for an amount in dispute of €250,000 under the German Act for Attorneys, totalling €3,948 plus a flat rate expense allowance of €20, totalling in €3,968. I wonder if I could just give them 2 Fender custom shops and we'll call it quits. And one company that have been brave enough to come forward with the letters they've received is LSL Instruments, small family run business, and they are now in the process of having to try and raise funds to battle Fender with their legal costs. A GoFundMe has now been set up to give this family run business a chance just to have their say. Now, there's been a couple of mixed reactions and emotions so far, and there is some conflicting data online, but from what we are led to believe, it hasn't just gone to small independent family run businesses, but also other manufacturers and some retailers are now allegedly receiving these letters. Now, you can draw your own conclusions who these might go to. What else looks very similar to that S shape? We are, of course, talking about PRS, the Silver Sky and that design. We've had this conversation before. Harley Benton, Schecter, ESP, Sir. There are just so many brands that now could they just be on the cusp of what could be a very lengthy and costly lawsuit. And now I think one of the most important things to talk about is what you feel about the situation. We've already seen some feedback online, and I'm just going to read a couple of comments out that we've seen. Fender committing commercial suicide in a futile lawfare that will do nothing but create a huge wave of bad publicity and boycott Fender's board. Another one that we've read is the damage is done. Fender just lost my future gear buying money. And we're seeing similar views across other platforms. Their lawsuit is not on their own. The PR nightmare is going to cost way more than money. The reputation and further development of their brands. Boycotting will be the next step. So this is where we come to you, folks, and in these videos it's very rare will you ever see me have an opinion. We as a shop try to have an unbiased view. I am currently working on Fenders. We've got them in the shop. I've also got a number of S-type bodies that we are working on. I'm going to share my thoughts in just a moment, but it's at this stage I'm asking you to please let us know what you feel and what you think. Moving forward now as an industry, what impacts would this have, and has it now put you off ever buying a Fender guitar again or giving them your money? In a world's first, I'm about to give my opinion on something. As a shop, we have always tried to be unbiased and to the point, to give everyone their chance to share their views. And this is the first time I feel I'd like to probably comment. Now, I am open to a discussion in the comments, so please feel free to disqualify anything I've said. If you don't agree with it, I am open to a conversation. I've been in this industry for just over 21 years. To see a mix of starters, whether that be young and old, come through that door to start their journey, something that's now going to potentially change their lives. Some of these customers might not want to spend £600 or £700 on a Fender guitar. A lot of them dream of finally owning one because it's got the magic F word on that headstock and it's something that's globally recognised. So to have been stood here for nearly 21 years representing different brands, not just in retail, but from a tuition point of view, and seeing the young and older minds develop has been my absolute privilege. I do feel that a monopoly on a particular item now is going to be detrimental to this industry. Music shouldn't be a privilege, it should be a God-given right. Designs are what they are, and to say that something is wholesome and characteristically yours is a very, very large statement. I do feel if you were to take those options away from the starter player, it would see such a loss in beginners coming into the industry and everything that this has given me. Lifelong friends, an opportunity to earn, learn, create, innovate. Everything we said earlier. For what it's worth, those are my thoughts on the matter. Please feel free to agree or disagree, but it is something I feel very strongly about. We do have to also look at this from Fender's point of view, and there will be some people out there that think Fender are in the right. There are a couple of comments, and this one stuck out for me more than most. It wasn't generic because it was created. It was generic because everybody copies. So folks, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm sorry for waffling on for so long, and as I've said a few times in the video, I would greatly appreciate your comments, thoughts and feedback. Please hit the thumbs up and share and like. We want to get as many views on this as possible, and we will hopefully come back to this with further news or even a reactionary video to what might develop a little further down the line. As always, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Jamie, your local tech shopkeeper and reactionary connoisseur. In the meantime, keep rocking, playing, and as always, thank you very much. See you next time. Bye, folks.